I have printed my dog's snout. Is anybody gonna sue me for harming my animal with gross nonsense? Hello Gelli fans! I promised you a collage video for this weekend and I really tried, but everything went wrong. I don't know why, but I have to postpone this one to next week. And then I saw a video about how dogs are thinking, and I had this idea. Now, if you want to print parts of your animal, you need an old blanket that you can make dirty, but the color has to go well with your dog's color. You need a small gel plate, some Akua intaglio etching ink, as it is soy-based and therefore harmless for your dog, some plexiglass to roll your paint out on, and a brayer. And most important, you need linseed oil. I've got it in this green container, because you need a dog too. See that? She can never say no to a bit of oil. And by the way, she's not licking the paint that you see on the plexiglass. It's on the underside of the plexiglass. She just licks the oil. Now you want to be sure that the dog is not scared by the tools you're going to use on her. So I show her everything before. She loves the gel plate, as I always clean it with the same linseed oil. Don't use anything on the dog before it has sniffed it, as you can lose her trust in you if she gets scared. I let her sniff the paint. Well, that's not her taste, but she's going to accept it, as long as you reward her straight afterwards with some oil. So I'm spreading out a little bit of the Akua paint. This is the black, I think it's the Mars black, and I roll it out very thinly. And this is really terrible. I actually forgot to press record when I pressed the gel plate on her nose. I'm such a pro, sorry. But I can tell you she didn't complain or move at all. I had to do it very quick and she held still. The only problem was me moving too much. Now you see me printing from the gel plate and I am using Fabriano sketch paper that has 90 GSM. Now you can see the nose well, and because I moved too much, it sort of got distorted downwards, but I find that kind of interesting, and you'll see later how this turned out. This is round number 2. I hope she is still in a good mood. I'm printing with Akua's cadmium red now, and as I'm such a pro, you can see nothing, because it's outside the camera frame. I don't know how to explain this to you, but yeah, go easy on me, please. I'm nervous. It left a good impression, which I'm going to print now. But before I do, I'll clean her nose with a linseed oil. And this part she loves. And while she is licking her reward, did you know that a dog's nose pattern is unique for each animal, just like our fingerprints? That means you can prove it when your dog did something really wrong. Now stop talking silly stuff and get to work. I'm taking the print from the cadmium red. And voila, I like it. You can see that I left the black paint from before. I left it on the plate before I put on the red. So I have a few spots of black, which is good for this print, I think. Now I'm starting to work out with the colored pencils, as you always know. I'm enhancing some parts in the face with, I think it's a carmine red, yeah. And I have to draw sort of an outline because I want to make the background dark, and I have to decide up to which point I'm going to leave the image of the face, if you know what I mean. So I'm sort of preparing for the background now. Here I'm giving some physical dimension with a blending tool to create some fading shadows. But to be honest, you don't have to buy all this stuff. You can use your finger to blend. In some areas the paint is a little bit thicker, and it's sort of, it feels like I'm pushing the original paint around. So you might want to wait for another day or so until the etching ink is really dry, unless you use acrylics. Now I'm adding some black or dark color. In this case, I've decided to use the Paynes gray and not the black, because it is not as dark, and for some reason I don't want it that dark. And I'm also using the Paynes gray to create the whole of the background. Usually I use acrylics for this, or even black ink, which is great because it's so dark, deep black. But in this case I'm using the Paynes gray, so I have to go on with a colored pencil. Here I'm adding shadows to pores and wrinkles in the skin of the nose, and that area under the nose is very important because it's so typical of a dog. So I'm adding some shadows there, but I'm not doing too much, only in this area. Here in the mouth you can actually see that the Paynes gray doesn't work so well because it's too much paint on there that hasn't dried yet. Here I'm giving you a close-up of the nose, and you can really see all those little wrinkles and pores that my dog has, and I can really tell it's my dog. It's funny. Before I make everything around the face dark, I work out some areas that I want to leave, mostly at the side of the painting. Well, I don't want to bore you with the rest of the background, so I'm just going to show you some photos. Just when you want it really dark, you have to press hard on your pencil and have separate more layers, like 3 layers or so, where you go in different directions to get the real dark depth. This is it, and I call it a snout in the dark. And now for the snout in space. Initially I wanted to turn the background completely black, but I'm not going to do that because I kind of like it that soft as it is. So I'm just putting in some shadows with a fine liner and adding some highlights. Of course there are stars in this because it's in space, and I'll also put highlights on the stars and on the snout. And I wanted to stress again, please don't do this with your dog as long as it's not comfortable with it totally. It's very, very important to have a mindful and trustful relationship with your dog. So yeah, my dog was easy, but you know, try it out. give some treats, and if it doesn't like it, don't do it. And this is the result. I kind of like it a lot. And yeah, I wish you a happy week and see you next weekend. Hopefully with a collage. Bye.